If you prefer an on-premises static code analysis and code review tool, you will have several options, and one of the options is SonarQube. SonarQube has been around for several years and is very popular. To work with SonarQube and learn it, you can use its community edition. If you want to use it in your company, you should use the developers edition or the enterprise edition. Also, for the community edition, you will have two options. One option is to download its package and install it on your own computer or on a server. SonarQube is a Java application, so you need to download and install the latest version of JDK or Java Development Kit. You will need to have an understanding of how you deploy a Java application to get this up and running. If this is not your preferred method, you can use Docker instead. So if you go to SonarQube and then to products, choose SonarQube and then click on deployments, there are three different ways of deploying it. One, as I said, is that you download the zip file and you deploy it yourself. Docker is good if you have Docker Desktop installed on your machine or on your test server. To deploy Docker, just find the edition that you want to use, for example, Community Edition, pull the image and do a Docker run on this, and the container will be up and running. And you don't need to do anything other than that because obviously everything has been set in the container for you. This is the way I have deployed it. So if I show you my Docker desktop, you will see that I have a container here that is SonarQube. Once you have SonarQube up and running, it will look like this when you log into it. So the username for default login is admin and the password for the default login is admin. You use admin to log in. You need to connect your SonarQube to your repository. There are obviously different ways of doing it. You can connect it to GitHub, to GitLab, to Azure DevOps. For example, to connect it to our repository in GitHub, what we need to do is to go to settings, which is after you log into GitHub, you go to github.com/settings. Then you go to developer settings and you will click on new GitHub app. I have one already. When you create the GitHub app, you need the app ID that is generated automatically. You need the client ID that is generated automatically. You need to create a client secret. And you need to create a private key here that I have created. And then you need this information to connect to GitHub. If I go back to SonarQube and say import from GitHub, and I choose code review. This is because I have authenticated before with GitHub, so that is why it sees my repositories. We use the global settings. You can use SonarQube with your CI/CD tools. For example, it has integration with Jenkins, with GitHub Actions, with Azure Pipelines, and also you can use other CI or locally and run the scripts in your CI tool. For example, if you use Atlassian Bamboo or JetBrains TeamCity, you can just use the script as I will show you soon. So if I click on locally, you will see that you need to generate a token, which you do. Continue, and then you choose what language your code is in. So if you have Java, you use Maven or Gradle. If you have .NET, you click on .NET. For other languages, you click here. And that is because SonarQube comes with a tool called Sonar Scanner that actually scans the code and reports it back to the SonarQube's web application. And obviously, because it's a tool, you can download it as a library using Maven or .NET NuGet. And then it gives you all the commands you need to run to test your code. For example, the code that we wrote was in .NET Core. So I choose .NET Core. First, I need to run this command to install the SonarQube scanner. I have done it, so I don't run that command. Then I will need to copy this command, go to where my source code is. I think this is where my source code is, and paste it in here. This will start the code analysis. For some reasons, the background is black, but if I select it, you will see the text. And then you need to build your code. So we just copied .NET build. We go here and we run .NET build. And then you end using this command. You end the analysis. I clear the screen. Again, I don't know why the background is black, but if I select the text, you will see the output. Now, when you go back to your project, automatically the page refreshes and it shows you whether your code is good or not good. Now, there is a catch. As you can see, it says the quality gate is passed, Maintainability is A grade. Bugs, absolutely no bug. Security problem, absolutely no security problem. If I click on these three, you will see there are three issues. If I click on any of them, it says where is the issue. It shows exactly where the problem is. How can I fix it? It tells you how you can fix it. But the catch is that it only understands the static code. If we go to the code and see what we saw before, we saw that there is a parallel here. The parallel invokes multiple threads at the same time, and basically multiple threads are calling data storage.addNumber. And if we go to add number here, you will see that they are adding an integer to a list. And I said that in C#, this type or list is not thread safe. You will go into a racing condition and basically your CPU will go to 100%. So this is a big bug, a big problem in the code. But as you saw, SonarQube couldn't pick it up because SonarQube only looks at static code, not at runtime, what happens at runtime. Which means that you should not rely 100% on static code analysis. You must do manual code analysis as well by expert and experienced developers. You can click on project information. It gives you information about the project. It also gives you a badge. You can copy this badge and put it in your README in GitHub, and it shows that you have checked the code and it's passed, things like that. Also, those commands that we just copied, you can also use them in TeamCity or in Atlassian Bamboo so that you can have integration with your CI tool as well. The tool is SonarQube tool is very simple. In issues, you can see the issues, security hotspots. If there is a security problem, it shows it here. All the measures, for example, reliability, maintainability, coverage, it will come here. Over time, every time you change the code, a new analysis is performed, and therefore you will start seeing graphs as well. And it shows that what class has been analyzed, and also a log of activity. So this lesson wasn't about how you can install and use SonarQube. It was just to give you an idea that what you can do with SonarQube. And obviously SonarQube is not the only tool. It's one of the tools. You can do your own research and see that what tool suits you. But obviously, as I said, sometimes you want to have an on-premises tool, and SonarQube is a good one for that purpose.